Good. Hey, my next question today is somebody asked me, I prayed a prayer that I believe God would answer and it didn't answer. I'm disappointed. What do I do? Now, again, in a way, I'd watch my last Q&A. I would come back to this thing and say, if you prayed and something didn't happen, well, be honest about it. Don't invent excuses. It's really important that we don't develop theology out of a lack of experience rather than developing theology out of the Word of God. So if you've had an experience where you prayed for something and it didn't happen, well, don't let go of your faith. Don't let go of God. I think at times we can come to the Lord, like it says in James 1, and ask Him for wisdom and say, Lord, would you show me the why this didn't happen? I think at times we can go to other people. I have a ministry in that area where quite often people will come to me and the Lord will show me why they're not healed or what's going wrong in that area there. So if you prayed and something didn't happen, I would just say pause, cry your tears, deal with the pain and the disappointment of that, but don't stay in the pain and disappointment of that, and be willing to reevaluate your faith. For years I used to pray, and if I'm honest, it felt like God hardly ever answered. It felt like I got about one answer in 20 to my prayers. And I just basically come to the conclusion that prayer was like an exhaust valve for emotions. It was good, you talk to God, but it didn't actually really change things here on the earth. And my life really got dramatically changed when I realized, no, God works by principles. Yeah, if you want to see God heal, you've got to learn the principles of God. And if you're going to see your prayers answered, you can't come like Naaman the leper came to Elisha saying, this is how I think God should work. Rather, we should come saying, Lord, teach me your ways. Teach me how you actually work. Let me let go of my ideas about prayer and let me take on board your ideas. So if you've been disappointed in prayer, let me send you a hug over the internet here. Really, I feel for you there, and I don't want to belittle that. I've never gone to anybody in my whole life and said, you don't have enough faith. But what I want to lovingly do to people is go and say, hey, it kind of feels like you don't know how to use your faith, and maybe you need to develop and grow your faith, and maybe you need to learn in your faith. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was a teenager, I began living by faith, and I read a book by a guy, Colin Urquhart, who needed a car for his traveling faith ministry. So we went to a car dealership and ordered a car by faith. And when I read this book, I was like, great, that's what I'm going to do. So I went and I ordered a newish car by faith. The problem was, I didn't have any faith. I had a book. He had faith, and he wrote a book. I had the book, and I had no faith, and I went and ordered a car, but no money came for my car. And I was a little hurt and disappointed. And then a few weeks later, somebody gave me the biggest clunker of a car, the biggest, it's like a 25-year-old car with chickens living in the back, whatever. I was so disappointed, and frankly, I was so angry at God when that happened. And I came to the Lord, I said, Lord, what do you call this? And straight away God spoke to me and said, that's the current level of your faith. That's where your faith's at now, Graham. Don't complain, learn, grow. Have the humility to realize the guy who wrote the book knew things that you didn't know. So grow in your faith. Boom. Let's continue here.